What's up, people? The USA has cut aid to Niger as France initiated the withdrawal of its troops. I'm Chibuzo Nwachukwu. I'd appreciate you liking this video and subscribing to my channel. The cutoff of over $500 million in aid to the insurgents hit African country is in connection with what the Western world calls a coup, and that is the ousting of the former president of Niger, Mohamed Bazoum, who was then replaced by the interim president, Abdul Raham Tishan. France started withdrawing its troops per the interim president. I wrote clips.
The United States has cut off more than $500 million aid, which was supposed to be given to Niger. This is happening few hours after the first convoy of French troops started withdrawing from Niger as ordered out by coup leaders. Niger's military regime announced on state television late Tuesday that it escorted the first convoy of French soldiers from their base in the western town of Oualam in the direction of Chad. The withdrawal of French forces was quickly demanded by Niger's new ruling generals after they took power on July 26, with French President Emmanuel Macron confirming in September their departure, a process that Paris expects to be completed by the end of the year. Around 1,000 French troops were stationed in Niamey, with another 400 deployed at two forward bases in the northwest, near Mali and Burkina Faso, a hotbed of insurgent activity. In addition to the departure by land, 3 special flights have been registered at the airport in Niamey, 2 for the departure of 97 Special Forces elements and 1 dedicated to logistics. The United States, along with West African nations and former colonial power France, had been pressing the military to restore President Mohamed Bazoum. We're taking this action because over the last 2 months, we've exhausted all available avenues to preserve the constitutional order in Niger, a senior U.S. official added. French troops have been living with uncertainty since the new regime began demanding their departure, with irregular supplies of food and repeated anti-French demonstrations outside the Niamey base. It is the 3rd time in 18 months that French troops have been sent packing by a former African colony, dealing a severe blow to France's influence on the continent and prestige on the international stage. France's ambassador to Niger was also given his marching orders by the leaders of the coup that toppled the French-backed president. Niamey's military rulers had labeled the announcement of France's diplomatic and troop withdrawals in September as a step towards the sovereignty of Niger. Mali and Burkina Faso, which have also undergone coups in the past 2 years, have also turned their backs on France, accusing it of a colonialist attitude and of failing to effectively combat jihadists. Mali has pivoted towards Moscow, bringing in mercenaries from the notorious Wagner group. In Niger, anti-French demonstrators have also been seen waving Russian flags, scenes in stark contrast to rejoicing that greeted French troops in 2013, when they helped liberate northern Mali from Al-Qaeda-affiliated insurgents. Niger had in recent months been acting as a regional hub for French troops, helping armies in the region fight Islamist insurgents. Macron initially attempted to keep his troops and ambassador in the country, but in late September gave in to pressure to bring them home after months of anti-French protests. France still insists that Bazoum's ousted government remains the sole legitimate authority. The former president remains under house arrest in Niamey. Let me conclude by saying that the rest of enslaved Africa has a thing or two to learn from the Nigerian situation and the Nigerians themselves. Nothing is impossible when we are united. I repeat, nothing will be impossible for Africa if we unite.
The USA has the right to stop giving aid to any other country. However, there are three things that I would like to point out. Just because, like the other Western leaders, the Biden administration calls the way by which the power changed hands a coup does not really make it a coup. USA is in no position to control another country. It has no right having control of democracy in Niger. In fact, I would say that those Western nations, USA, France, and so on, assaulted the democracy of Niger. To me, that was no democracy. I mean, Bazoum becoming the president, it looks to me like he was instated as a puppet by the Western countries. He was ousted because he was serving the Western nations, especially France, instead of serving his own country, which he was supposed to do. He deserved to be thrown out. Next, what would the Nigerians get from the $500 million in aid? This would be the same as in before. The money that Niger got from those Western nations went to the puppet and the administration. The $500 million would go to Bazoum and the rest of his administration. All the people of Niger, not part of the government, would get nothing from it. Any humanitarian aid that might have been given to those people would be trash. The Nigerians don't need to reinstate their former president. Third, the USA decided not to help the Nigerian military. However, 1,000 of its military personnel are still in the country, Niger. If they are not helping the Nigerian troops, what would they be doing in Niger? What would they be doing monitoring threats from the jihadists? They could help the jihadists destroy Niger. The junta government of Niger needs to get rid of the US troops as soon as possible. Like the French troops, the US troops did nothing to help Niger. They're on the same side as the jihadists. They are against Niger. They need to leave the country as soon as possible. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.